All right, everyone, and welcome to Trade of the Week Monday. We're doing something a little different. As you can see, I'm in a different location, but normally what we do every Monday is I give one idea from the StatsEdge Pro members that has triggered, so you guys can watch it throughout the week. Those have been great recently. What we're going to do today, because I'm just recording this before I go to a conference there with the guys at All Star Charts, is I'm just going to go through a bunch of them because I don't know which one will trigger. I'll give you some ideas of what it is that we're watching this week. And then on Wednesday, on the Wednesday video, I'll probably just go over some of those because there'll be a lot of, us being tired and not knowing what to look at. So without further ado, let's just kind of pop into it here with the first one. I'm just bringing up here on my iPad screen a couple of names to look at. This BZUN. So this is I believe, Chinese sponsored ADR. We're looking to see if this pulls back to 414 with a stop here of 350, right? So right under this low, this candle right here. The idea is that we had this nice breakout. So if we get a pullback into this 414, we're looking to get involved there. Our stop would just go under this candle low the last time the bears kind of took control here. So that I really like. Anyone who's followed me for any length of time know I love things that are, right, this is a breakout from, a range that was significant on, a heavy price action. And then if we pull back to that range, that one is one thing that I like. GameStop, as much as I, troll the apes, the GameStop apes that have been just so wrong for so long, this looks a little bit interesting. So what we're looking at here is the same kind of a thing, right? We've had this prior base right here. We've broken out of that base, and now it looks like we could pull back into it. This happened on earnings. So if you look at this, right, top and bottom earnings beat, it's a good thing. Again, we're not holding this forever. All of these exits will be next week, right? So you're going to hold these until next week if the stop doesn't trigger. Again, if you like them, it's not financial advice. I'm not your dad. But that's the idea here as well. WOLF, that wolf. There's a lot of different wolves out here. This is an interesting one because I was pretty sure this company is bankrupt or at least declared bankruptcy, but it's doing that whole coming back from the dead thing. Huge base right here between kind of 175 and $1. So if we can pull back into that base, that's interesting. The stop loss for this one goes at 121, right? It's generally always kind of the last place that buyers took control is how the algo is kind of set up for that. And last but not least, SONN for this particular setup. And this one is just huge move on Friday. So if it comes back in, you can see again the prior resistance that potentially could act as support in this area, and then the stop being down here around $3. Now, just one from one of our mean reversion setups, and that's EL, Estee Lauder. This one has been on a pretty big run from 48 to $80 for a giant company like this. That's actually a pretty big move. So we're looking to see if this comes down to kind of $81, $82 and find some support there. This is, again, just a mean reversion one. So it's just saying that this is overall in an uptrend. It's just pulled back a little bit too fast on like a weekly time frame. The stops on these are usually pretty huge because you just have to do that when you're doing mean reversion trading. So the stop's like $75 or something like that, right? I give it a wide stop. This strategy actually tests better without stops, but for that kind of 1 in a million craziness, I still think it's better to kind of have stop losses in mind, just so you have that level to kind of punch out from. Now, looking at some of our momentum strategies, Pool, which is a more expensive stock, but doesn't bother me. Nice looking low base, and I've been talking about these for a while. I love these low bases that have been setting up companies that were kind of left for dead. This one hasn't moved in ages, but you can see the really tight price action that's occurred right at this prior high. This is a big one. It's funny if you zoom out. A pool company has been just this insane mover over a period of time. I really, really like that one. BTU, coal has been super hot, just in general. And BTU has this really nice tight range at these prior highs. So looking to see if this can break about $18, $19. And then also, there was one more, BBD. This is a bank shares, right? So this is another ADR, another foreign type company, but a huge push up here, tight consolidation over these prior highs. So if we can get through 320 here, these last three that I did, the stops are really, really tight. So for example, on this one, we're looking to get in here at 320, and then a break of 315, or even these lows right here. It's time to go. And on pool, the stop is 327. So you're looking for this thing to break and then not really pull back at all. And that's important to note that there's different, obviously, setups and rules and stops for each of these strategies. And this is what StatsEdge Pro members get every week, every different strategy and a strategy explainer on what it's doing and what it's looking for. And then, where we're interested, where the stop loss would be, that kind of thing for each strategy. And the reason that that's important is because breakout strategies, this has a sub 50-50 win rate. So over half the time you hit the button on the breakout strategy, you're going to be wrong. And anyone who's traded any breakout style for any length of time knows that. And it's just the way it works. So we want to be really tight with our stop. Mean reverting strategies have a little bit of a higher win rate. So we want to be a little wider with our stops. But they also are going to make, generally speaking, you're not going to have a huge, insane return. It certainly can happen, but if you're buying something on the way down, you're looking for a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a pop. If you're buying something like a pool here, right, you're looking for this thing to explode higher, and you're risking $5 a share or so. You're looking for this thing to explode higher, make you $10, $20 a share. So the risk reward of this, how much you'll make on the occasional correct trade, is just way better than kind of what you'll lose when you're wrong. So that's a bunch of the names that we're watching. I will write down the ones that I talked about, and then we will go over those maybe sometime later in the week. I just wanted to get something out for you guys because, again, we do this every Monday, and I know I'm going to be busy and doing things all Monday. So everyone trade safe out there, and I will talk to you guys soon.